Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tavernside Chats. I'm your Tavernkeeper Will. Here, I am joined with a number of people today. We haven't had this many people, I think, since our inaugural episode. We got Blair Rose, we got RJ, we got Rich, and we got Jake for this episode. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Usually, we have someone on to talk about something in the TTRPG space that they are interested in. However, unfortunately, right now, we were supposed to record today, and then it fell through. So we are doing this instead of we are recording a kind of episode of RPG horror stories, taking a real check out of the XP to level 3 book here. Before we get into it, I do want to shout out our merch store. You can find the link in the doobly-doo down below. Additionally, you can also find a link to our Patreon on there. You can join our Patreon for at least $1 a month is our cheapest option, right?
I think it's $2 right now, but either way, it's a pretty darn good deal.
Ain't that
very cheap, very fun. It's such a low price, and you also get access to our the Discord server in which you can interact with all of us, hear all the crazy stuff that happens off in the background, or us just kind of chat with us. That, and also, if you subscribe to our highest level as well, there's even a chance you can join our Patreon exclusive games too. So if you want a chance to be on the show or just be DM'd by one of us, even in the background, join us on our Patreon for some extra bonus content. Folks, how are we all doing today?
Fantastic, man.
Lovely.
We're sewing today, and I can't feel my bones.
Bones are overrated.
Unfortunately, though, your Nosferatu dress looks really good, though.
I'm very excited for it.
Most of the day making seating charts, so that was fun. So, for people who do not know, RPG Horror Stories is a subreddit where people will go to post awful things that have happened in their games to them. DMs can talk about stuff that have happened from like awful players, or people will find things that DMs have said to them, or they've seen people talk about online, and kind of like just mention these, like kind of talk about these horrible things that happen in RPG spaces, because unfortunately not every table is as blessed to have kind and loving players and DMs. Some people unfortunately kind of have to go through some nightmare experiences too. So our first story here, it comes from this is posted on the RPG Horror Stories subreddit. This is a screenshot someone posted from a Facebook group of 5e Dungeon Masters. So it's Facebook, so you already know that this is going to be very fun. So, my players used a wish spell. The GM has a great latitude in ruling what occurs in such an instance. The greater the wish, the greater the likelihood of something that goes wrong. Please help me figure out what goes wrong. So we have a DM basically trying to figure out their players have cast a wish spell, and they're trying to mess with it based on the wording. My players have had a very tough fight this week. One of the PCs is dead. The other PCs are probably about to die. There is little hope. One of the PCs has been hanging onto a wish spell for over a year of real time. Campaign's been going on for 2 years. They're in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. The wish was, I wish for my whole party, including dead PC, to be transported to Skullport. So ideas I've had so far. The party gets teleported back with no gear, no money, no clothes. The dead body next to them when they arrive is also back in town. The cleric is high enough level to revivify, but she won't have any of the spell components if they end up in town with no gear. Alternatively, the party gets transported back along with the creatures they're currently fighting. Maybe they show up back in the middle of Xanthar's office, and the dead body drops right there in the middle. A bar would work too. I'd probably let them keep their gear in that case. I have a week to come up with this too, so I thought I would seek some help. Maybe even mash some ideas together. What do you guys think would be a way to have something go wrong? That's the end of the story there.
You have them all show up, but they're dead.
Okay.
Down
Well, I
to
mean,
1 HP.
And the dead player is the only one alive, and they all have to go to the underworld.
There you go.
Valid.
I think that there's something here. I think the biggest DM sin here almost is like it seems like this guy has a very adversarial relationship with his PCs almost.
You know,
Yeah.
well, I was going to ask that. I was going to say, what in second edition happened to you, and do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, like, do we need to specifically see a 2E therapist? Like, do we?
Like, here's my thing. Because I'll share something with the world. I play a wizard. Monday nights on the Fatal Roll. Links in the description. I have been sitting on, for the better part of a year, a wish spell.
Oh?
And
Ooh.
if, like, here's the thing. As a DM and as a story smith and everything else, like, your players are saving up for a 9th level spell scroll that can rewrite the fabric of reality. And I want that adorable little spoon that you have there, Will. I don't know what it was for, but I'd like it.
I got a Talenti dairy-free sorbet when I had to DoorDash a charger right before this. So I'm having some raspberry sorbet as we're doing this.
You're so cute.
So my response to this as the DM is like, let the wish spell work. It's probably a pivotal moment in the campaign.
Especially if you as a player are like, well, I don't want to use this willy-nilly and like just use it for like riches and stuff, right?
They said they said they've got a cleric, right? What if instead of the wish spell
cleric is
going
dead.
wrong? Oh, is
Oh,
the cleric the dead one?
Wait, no, the cleric is alive, but another PC is dead.
Oh, well,
So why doesn't the cleric use divine intervention whenever the wish spell starts to go wrong? Or even the DM could interlude with a divine intervention just to give that cleric a little bit, so it's almost like a yin and a yang, and it ends up working.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is they say specifically in the story that the cleric is high enough level for Revivify. We don't know if they're at the high enough level where like divine intervention just works, or if you still have to roll for it.
That's
for it.
It's still
Well, they're
the
able to
DM
cast a
can
wish spell.
interject at any time.
Yeah.
They're able to cast a wish spell too, so that's also some pretty high level magic.
I think it's important to understand how.
The wish for a year of real time, so who knows how much leveling they've done in between now and then.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a scroll or a magic item that lets them do a wish and like it's only like it's like a limited number of resources, then you're really being a dickhead to the players. Like
oh my god, yeah.
But
yeah.
Here's my thing. If they've had access to 9th level spells for over a year and that's what this is like, hey, I'm just going to cast Wish, fuck with them. Like, fuck with them all day long. If they've got 9th level spells and resources, they're good. But if they're not there, you're giving them the ultimate resource and then saying, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really scummy what this DM
like
was doing
hanging
here.
on and then yanking it away.
Yeah.
No,
like,
literally.
Yeah.
Or like putting like your toy in front of your dog and make you look like you're gonna throw it, but you don't actually let go, so the dog is really excited and then just looks around. Absolutely, if they've been holding on to that for a year, you gotta let it work.
Truly, because I don't see any reason why you wouldn't let it work unless there was some other story reason why it's not working. Like maybe that character's magic recently has been a little faulty sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And like, if that's the world we're rocking with, that's the world we're rocking with. But I'm gonna come up here with my constant adage of this show about like consent in storytelling. Like that is stake. The wish spell getting fucky is a stake that needs to be conveyed to the players beforehand.
Yeah.
And
if this on the table, I think people should know, especially if this is something that the player has been holding on to for a year in case something very bad happens, and something very bad has happened. Because it sounds like, even beyond the fact that they have a dead PC, their wording makes it sound like they're all about to die soon, so maybe there's something else happening, and they're trying to use this card, this boon that the DM has promised them, is like, if this is a world where that's magically possible for it to come with a price, it should be conveyed to the players beforehand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, there's an interesting thing here too that comes from when you're a player, especially when you're like really getting into the role play. Like when this has become, you know, more than just the average everyday game of D&D, it's really starting to get meaningful and impactful and stuff like that. There's this desire to want to surprise the party and your friends and the DM, and that desire to surprise can quickly become dangerous if you get in your own head and you're like, oh, they'll love this. They might not. And you know, like, there's a lot, like, back to my wizard with his wish spell. So I went to the DM, and I'm like, hey, look, so I'm just going to give you a heads up that there's a situation coming down the road in the future, and I'm looking at using this wish for this purpose. Tell me if it's possible without me going into any more details. I'm looking for better than 50-50. I'm not willing to risk my resource for less than 50-50. Like, that's a fair. That's like me telling you where I'm coming from, and you, like, without, like, hey, I'm telling you, like, I want to keep surprises on the table, so I'm not going into a lot of details. Is this a possibility? And then that brings a dialogue in, and then that way, like, I'm like, okay, cool. Now we have had a conversation. If I fuck this wish up, then we're cool.
Yeah.
I think communication is the most important thing at the end of the day when it comes to that. Like, you know, in TTRPGs, the whole talking with your players very much is like one of your best things that you need to do. Are we good for another story, or does anyone have any last comments about the wish story?
I just wanted to comment on what Jake said, and just commending that I feel like that's a really solid, like, example of dialogue and advice of approaching the situation from a player perspective, because I feel like we touched a lot on the perspective of the DM as they were the one asking the question, but like talking with your DM as a player about like what to expect about what's happening in the world and the stakes that are happening here, asking them to spoil everything, which I don't think anybody wants.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, the answer is, hey, communicate.
Oh, man.
Literally.
Yeah.
Bonky
communication.
So weird, right?
Our next story also falls into the camp of communication. I also want to specify this before we jump into the story. No hate at all to the furry community when it comes to this story.
Oh, Lord.
There's a lot of good people in that community, I just want to say. Furry DM tries to run a furry game for non-furry players. Surprise, no one wanted it.
Oh, poor thing. Oh, Lord.
This is a short and relatively tame game that recently ended in failure. I found a Roll20 listing, that's your problem there, game that advertised itself as a world starting to go bleak and young adventurers rising up to become the flames of hope in a new world. Sounds cool. I've been playing dark and grittier games, so maybe a refresh of more good guys Lord of the Rings campaign would do more nicely. I filled my application to get in with 4 other players. Session 0 comes. We do introductions around the Discord, and the DM goes last. the DM immediately in her introduction announces that she's a furry. It was a little bit awkward because she was announcing it as if she was coming out of the closet or something, and the players were all silent for about 10 seconds. I'm not sure if she was expecting one of us to congratulate her, clap, or announce that some of us were furries as well. But it seemed like she left a pause for some dramatic effect or response, and it was just silence. She moves on to speak about the other usual things in session 0, and one of the players pipes up around the end, "Yeah, we all have our things, let's be accepting." Not sure if the DM took that as a sign to throw her fetish into the game, but come session 1, it's abundantly clear that the world we are being thrown into was essentially Zootopia. Every NPC we come across was some kind of humanoid animal with blushing long eyelashes, beautified art, and not wearing any clothes. I'm not sure how to explain it, except that if you've ever seen furry art, you know exactly what it looks like. Me playing the bard gets hit on by a tiger NPC lady in the tavern who purrs on my character and calls him handsome for having 18 charisma, to which I say my character smiles and thanks her, but he needs to be on his way to investigate those strange cultists outside of town. Game ends in 3 hours and the DM asks some feedback, and having played through things I did not play before, I asked the DM directly if she intended this to be a furry game. She laughs and responds, yes. I tell her that's really cool, but it's not really my thing, and if I had missed somewhere in the advertisement this was intended to be as such. The other players trying to be nice, do some nervous laughter, like, yeah, I kind of got that feeling too. We talked for a little bit, and the DM says that while some animal humanoids are okay, that we want more standard D&D world and less risque art. The DM says okay. As soon as we exit the voice chat, she kills the server. One of the players that friended me asked me if he had been kicked, and I said nope. DM promptly nukes the server. Roll20 in the internet is such a big place. Please, people, if you want to play a world with certain aesthetics, just be open about it. I assure you that there are others with your tastes, and you can find players suited to your game. Loaded story there.
Truly.
And tell her that she needs to go find a Discord server or a Tumblr where people are a lot cooler than they are on Roll20.
Truly.
Yeah.
I also do. It's hard because the second that this person called the like furry community a fetish, I was like, I don't think that's the proper word to use. Mainly just because I've had some furries in my life, and I don't think that's how they would describe it.
I feel like if we call Pixel a furry for playing Scylla, like
correct,
it's not.
Right.
Yeah, and so like past that point, sorry.
No, you're okay.
Past that point, I was like, yeah, no, this person is not posting this in good faith at all.
Oh yeah.
Like they definitely.
Which also makes me
with the lady, and then everyone is on their side. Is like, yeah, no one's an asshole here, y'all. The parties just didn't match up. She's gonna go find couple players, and they're gonna find some nice Adventurers League.
I do think that there is. I would say that this is if we're going by the r/am by the asshole designations, I think this is a case of everyone sucks here, not gonna lie. Because specifically and again, what you were talking about before, consent and role-playing, the, like, having, like, beautified naked NPCs constantly is a little, for people who didn't sign up for that, can be a little jarring, on top of having your character hit on by an NPC and having them, like, you know...
And I think, I don't know about y'all's specific D&D history, but Will and I'm going to restart the sentence real quick. In Will and I's main game, which has run 2 full campaigns and about, like, 3-4 years now, there is a lot of NPC romance and PC and NPC romance. So, like, what gets role played, quote unquote, on camera, or what people are okay with, is like very much something that needs to be talked about beforehand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I even have a friend who's specifically in an NSFW game right now.
Yeah. And those are fantastic games. Do them if you want to, but be open with them.
Question: is it Vampire the Masquerade?
No, it's still 5e. It's just it's specifically NSFW stuff is allowed.
What were you?
Rich, what'd you say?
Yeah, I was trying to.
I was just saying that most of the campaigns that I've been in, the DM will actually send out a consent form. It'll have,
Yes.
These are the things I'm okay with talking about. These are the things I'd rather stay away from. I mean, that's what Session 0 is for.
100%.
Yeah.
It's such a valid resource, especially. I have 2 points here. One, Deadlight Symphony, upcoming Abhaile Untold. Check it out when it eventually comes out. Is explicitly a horror campaign, and so part of that, it's a horror comedy, but specifically, I have it's a thing of like I talk to each of the individual players of like, hey, what are the like red cards and yellow cards? Like, what is the absolute do not include? And like, that is just like, if you want your players to feel comfortable at the table and you want to have those amazing moments, you need the people to feel comfortable, and they need to feel vulnerable at a table. And like I once heard someone describe vulnerability as letting your guard down without the fear of being hurt, or like, and like you need to have that at a table, because also in my long-running campaign that RJ was talking about, every single romance has been player instigated, of like them finding an NPC that they like and them going to raise them up, and I'm like, that's fine with me, because at the end of the day, it's like, cool, you want that, I'm not going to force that on you. I will let you choose the NPCs that you find attractive and that you can date.
In the very campaign,
please go ahead. I'm sorry.
In the very first campaign I played, because we did an RPG, I talked about how I was open to NPC romance. It was like, cool, and in his prepping, came up with an NPC that was quote unquote my type, or at least what he thought the character I was playing was going to be, and that character ended up being romanced by another NPC. I picked up a stupid trash goblin, and we later hit a mech force.
And you know what? That's just how it rolls sometimes.
Baby.
Yeah,
I also. You go first.
I mean, I've even done romances in games like Candela Obscura, which is a game that typically you don't see PC to romances happen. But in my first game of Candela, I was like, listen, romances just happen to me sometimes. I'm just open for it.
Yeah. I think for me personally, there haven't been a lot of DMs that I've played with where I'm like, oh yeah, no, your NPCs are so awesome that I kind of could romance one of them. Like, that's just not a thing I see happen very often. And like, I'll romance a player if they're in on it, like if they're into it and they're like wanting it, but for that, it's like, what are we telling? What story are we telling? Like, I'm not doing that just because, like, it's like, we're going to do something here and it's going to be fun. So yeah, you're like, there's no pressure there. Like, you don't have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Going back to the text of the original story, and again, I think that's also because I think that the writer here is a little bit of an unreliable narrator, specifically because how you spend so much time looking at a lot of this stuff, and then, like, we get a lot of details that I don't think are entirely necessary to the story. And specifically, the language that they use is a little bit, like, like, intentionally negative towards the DM, which I'm also going to say DM probably also in the wrong here, but I also think the player is in the wrong of, like, like, not, like, they didn't really communicate.
Like,
Yeah.
you're telling me that, like, at the top of, like, session 0, she mentioned she's a furry, and then nobody asks if that's gonna play into the game at all?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
that's not going to be at the top of most people's question list when they're going to a D&D game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to be sure we're not going to be dealing with a bunch of. I mean, that's just not something someone would.
Well, it is a trap question. Like,
also, shout out to Jake telling me to not play a Heron Gone for for season 2 specifically because, and I quote, furry characters don't do good on like thumbnails.
dude, I hate it so much that it is so true. Like that.
I know.
It is like it just is just a weird thing on the behind the scenes for everybody. Like when you're actually putting together an actual play, I could tell you the analytics based on the thumbnails that we have up, and it's as sexist and disgusting as you would assume.
Ew.
yeah.
Because Shala's did the best, right?
Always. Shala's do, and now we've got Melee in the party, so yeah, it's like, okay, we just one of them, but then I could put Scylla up there, and she's got big old muscly dragonborn titties, and no one's like, oh, she's hot. Like, I'm like,
Truly.
Howard.
Cowards.
It's okay. I gave you a goth twink for all, like, the like for all, like, the people to be like, oh yeah, Jack Skellington right there.
Tell me why that was my name when I was a child. Tell me why.
Sweet. I think we are good. Are we good to move on to another story here?
I got none that.
feed me, Seymour. I keep
All right,
forgetting
Howard.
what we're doing mid thing. So.
All right. Do we want one about a problem player or a problem DM?
Problem
Gotta lie.
DM. I love problem
Let's do
DMs.
both.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then after that, if we have time, we can do problem player, because I have story.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alright. DM does not understand the history skill. Short minor one is a palate cleanser from the real bad horror stories, but DM makes us roll history checks for any of our characters' memories. Me, hey
Okay.
DM, it's been a few sessions, I can't recall. What was the name of the NPC's daughter again? DM, roll history check. Me, it's been 3 weeks and it's only been a half hour for my character, so he would know this easily. DM, well, let's see, roll a history check. For added context, I was an avid note taker before this, but now I'm basically having to write everything he says down because I'll never know when my character will potentially forget how to breathe due to a bad roll. The extra shitty thing is that about being his stenographer is taking me out of the game while I scramble to make sure I have everything written down. In case you're a DM, per the PHB, your intelligence history check measures the ability to recall lore about historical events, legendary people, ancient kingdoms, past disputes, and recent wars and lost civilizations. Not, does the character remember how to tie their shoes or who their father was? That's the end of the story there.
That's fantastic. Can I defend
Now-
myself real quick? Because I do ask for history checks a lot.
Absolutely. Defend yourself here.
Number one, it's because we are playing roleplay heavy and you guys don't always get to roll dice all the time. So I just am like, okay, roll some dice. If I'm asking you for a history check in the last month, I'm generally establishing a DC of 2. and I'm just giving you the opportunity to have a natural one, like, where's your phone at? I don't know, moment, because, like, those are funny in a narrative moment, but it would never be like, oh, you rolled a 14 and you can't remember what you had for breakfast.
Yeah. I think the GM here is also, and I think that's completely different, because, I mean, again, you're explicitly making sure, like, DC of 2, like, setting up for bits and jokes in that situation. I definitely think that the DM here, there's something, I don't know, not entirely malicious, but I feel like, again, communication needs to happen of like, hey, I'm missing out of game time because I'm writing everything down. Can we cool it with the history checks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was almost going to go the opposite way, Jake, and be like, well, if their game is really, like, roles heavy, I can see them doing that. But if it's for, like, such a minute, like, a detail, like remembering the name of, like, a lord's daughter or something.
It was like a blacksmith's daughter.
Yeah. Like, I would have, it'd be like, yes, you know this information, this is what it was.
I think...
To me, it just seems like it's a whole lot of dance, puppets, dance type of deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, you're exactly right, Rich. I think what this is this is a DM who thinks his party doesn't pay attention.
Wait.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a DM that I think you're right. This is a DM that doesn't think his party's paying attention. That's an awesome joke.
I know. I was
Which as a player,
Family
I got you. I
that was
got
a Family
you.
Guy
did.
bit, Rich.
which as a player with ADHD, I am sometimes guilty of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm very guilty of it. Jake will tell you.
It's a real thing. Shit. This is a perfect example of it. Like, part of it too is just Discord, right? Like, there's always a thing where if I talk too loud or if I talk while Will's talking. So really, like, when Rainn's like, no, it's like when they're not paying attention, and I fell right into your trap. It's like I wasn't even thinking about it. It's like I'm just like in Discord DM mode, and I'm like, oh, people don't hear me all the time, so I'm just repeating myself. And like, dude, that's a valid thing.
No, I definitely feel like it's a guy who's kind of he's either taking the game too seriously because he feels he doesn't get to do enough. So he wants to hold it over them and say, hey, check for this, check for that, check for this, check for that. Or it's just a guy who isn't having as much fun with the game as he wanted to.
Yeah. Well, there's also just like a possibility of what's fun for him. He might just be a psychopath. That's a valid possibility. Some
he
people
does play D&D.
Yeah. Some people.
What's the expression of like? What's that expression of like no D&D is better than bad D&D? Like,
yes,
valid things, man. Like, valid things.
Yeah.
Did you have an input on this story, RJ?
Yes, I was waiting for a lull in conversation because I feel like this may be an of Discord, but I feel like something that this DM is wanting that this player is annoyed by is, like Jake's point, like they're wanting there to be more roles, but the player is like, this is information that I should have happened 30 minutes ago, so can't you tell me? I almost wonder if there needs to be some sort of, I'm not good with D&D rules, homebrew, like, passive intelligence shit going on in the background, so that you can remember things like person you talked to 5 minutes ago's name, even if that session happened 3 weeks ago and Jeremy doesn't know their name, but like Gorthard the Barbarian would.
Here's the thing too. This is a weird little context thing that we don't know. Is this character a character that has a 7 intelligence? because
Right.
that changes things now, because like that, you know, if that passive if that passive history exists, it's negative now. So like,
Yeah.
there's places for it, but you shouldn't like because like this is a thing that I've often told people, because I think every single person in here has probably come across a puzzle in D&D that's been too hard. Usually they require meta knowledge, and I'm a big proponent of like, don't ever put in a thing that requires outside knowledge. It has to be solvable in game. But
Yeah.
I'm always a person that's like, because puzzles will frustrate people, not just like disappoint them. They will actually frustrate people. So what I like to tell people to do before it gets to the point where we're like 45 minutes into this thing and we're ready to fucking kill each other is, hey DM, I don't know the answer. My dickhead's got 24 intelligence. There's a good chance he does. Can I roll something for that?
Oh yeah.
And like, I can, as a DM, I can be like, yeah, like, this isn't the fun solution I had in mind, but it does get us out of the problem.
Sweet. So, I have a funny one here for our next one about a problem player. This one, T-shirt causes problem player to have a meltdown.
Oh, fun.
So, this isn't my story, but I witnessed this happen last night at a Florida game store. So you already know. this
Florida
takes place
and
in
game
Florida.
store, my lord.
Oh yeah, we get to some peak nightmare zone here.
Varian.
Hell yeah.
So, I had gotten an email last night that my Pathfinder 2 ebooks have arrived. So I headed into the store last night to pick them up. There were two people setting up at a table for D&D. I'm assuming that the woman was the DM, and she was as she was setting up the maps, the screen, and pulling notes out of her bag. As the clerk and I were chatting about the upcoming Superman movie, what looked like the rest of the table entered the store. One of them looked at the guy who was with the woman during the setup and stopped dead in his tracks. He stood there looking at him and like looking about ready to cry. Eventually he shouted, "You asshole," sobbed, and turned around and fled the store. I looked at the clerk and raised an eyebrow and he said, he's been simping over the DM for weeks now, pulling the whole milady crap. I guess he didn't like the fact that the t-shirt her boyfriend was wearing. I looked at again and saw what set him off. The guy who is helping the DM set up had a shirt on. I nodded, paid for my books, and got out of there before the drama hit. Now, I left a part out. What do you guys think the shirt says?
Fuck you, Dennis. This is his name.
Fuck you, Dennis.
Fuck you,
No
Dennis.
means no.
Probably
No means
that.
no.
Or what could set a man off like that? Probably 1,000,001 things.
I mean,
It just said Trump.
my initial thought is it's something like the Peter the Pumpkin Eater Halloween costume for couples. Like, that's
Oh yeah.
something that, like, without question says, we're hooking up, you ain't getting this. Like,
It's a print out, like them at a weekend in Vegas.
So Jake,
just because we're playing make believe doesn't mean you get to flirt with my girlfriend.
So Jake, you were dead on. The shirt set. Now the story. Now I knew what said her. Now I knew what was her boyfriend had a shirt on that said, "I'm sleeping with the DM."
Honestly,
do I need one of those shirts for myself?
I could have had a shirt like that at some point.
I should get one for Gina.
No, because these are. I think while this story is legitimately funny, there is a lot of very concerning behavior happening here as well.
Yeah.
And of course, it sounds like this is an Adventurers League game.
The thing is, Florida. The second is Adventurers League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to sit up for my reaction to this one.
Okay.
It was childish as hell, but sometimes you gotta beat someone over the head with the truth for them to
Oh,
get it.
absolutely.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
maybe he's really making her feel uncomfortable, and she said no 1,000,000 times.
Yeah,
You know what? You
Truly.
bring your boyfriend in who say, stay the F away from her.
is the DM's boyfriend or husband or whatever it is in this situation, is he a part of the table regularly, or was this a new thing?
sounds-
That's
Sounded like he was.
Yeah. Oh,
We are not giving that information from the story. But it sounds like the boyfriend is the table as well with the guy, with like the guy who's trying to pull like the milady stuff.
I gotcha. So I am not gonna name names on whose stream this was, but I was in a small actual play stream chat one time, and there was a character in the chat that was simping hard over the DM, and the moment, it was the best moment in my life. Her husband, his arm, his elbow, was visible on stream as he handed her her DoorDash. And I watched his world crumble in chat as he imploded. It was the best thing ever. It's like, oh my god, I didn't realize you had somebody over. And I'm like, and she's like, oh no, it's not. It's just my husband.
It is my literal spouse.
Like, this is the best day of my life.
Well, and I definitely like. I think that like first of all, I'm sleeping with the DM is a hilarious shirt to have, and I also think because of what sounds like was going on in this situation, it was like. This was like the final step that they took of like, okay, this guy is not letting up. Let's get the joke shirt to like scare, to kind of like push him off.
It could also just be a really good guy friend of hers. Which honestly, if that is a good guy friend of hers, A+ to him.
Right.
Oh, right.
Like that's how you be an ally.
I've done it before.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you how big of a deal this actually is, because I'm real curious now and I'm diving into this. The only place on the internet that I'm finding that you can purchase these shirts is on Etsy and Redbubble, and they are not cheap.
They went to Etsy.
Definitely.
Etsy, they went to Redbubble.
They're paying at least $20 for this shirt plus shipping.
Or they made it.
Hey,
Or maybe the girl had a cricket.
So
they could have a cricket. You don't know.
So
Exactly.
and Etsy and Redbubble.
That's time.
Yeah, none of those places ship quickly, and they cost money. This is an issue that required planning. Like,
Or a really chill friend who is the same shirt size as the boyfriend husband.
right.
And also, let's be clear here. I have, I am like a MAB individual, so but I've also been in these game stores before, and the amount of shit that women have to go through just trying to play D&D at a game store is utterly disgusting, and how like these are genuinely unsafe spaces, which is the point where people have to advertise of like, hey, we're like, we try to be like a really safe game store. Like, the fact that you have to specify that implies that every other game store is unsafe, which is unacceptable behavior for the hobby.
It super is.
Truly.
Let's always remember, we have the ultimate ability in ourselves to walk away from those situations and go find a place that is safe. So, if it is making him that upset, the guy who walked out, if it's making him that upset, then you need to go find another table my sir.
Literally.
You need to go trot on down the old dirt road and find another table.
I've even like been at tables where it is all girls, and even then I don't feel fully safe because sometimes even girls can be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
What else I was gonna say was that yes, of course, talk to your party before you even bring that into into your table, because that is absolutely fine. But I do think that like sometimes those are stories that are like worth exploring if everybody is okay with experiencing it.
I don't disagree with you. Like, I do think that maybe it might be like, this is just for me as a DM, because I love getting real with people. You'll see on the bottom of every character survey that I give out to my people playing at a table that I'm running is there something that you're trying over the long run to accomplish with this character? Something that you're trying to explore? And what that does is it tells me, like, okay, is this something that I can even do respectfully? Like, because there's some things that I'm cool fucking with, and there's some things that I don't feel qualified to fuck with. And that would, so, like, I think that there's a very good place for D&D and therapy to come together if it's comfortable with the table, and if it's a topic that you can, as a table, especially if it's like an actual play situation, like, because Critical Role, they always address deep things, but it's dangerous with an actual play because there is like a way to do it, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't quite understand, is like, and that's why, like, as a DM I would have pause there. It's like, I don't know that I can tell this story in a respectful way for it to be received by everyone, or in a TTRPG space where people are being vulnerable, things can get very weird. So communicate the shit out of it, but also don't be afraid to let things get weird. But just that knowing your audience thing is really important, and like how to deliver and whether or not you can.
It's not just knowing your audience; it's also knowing your cast.
Correct.
As y'all, RJ, Jake, and Rich have said, like, knowing your audience, not only as a TTRPG, but also, like, if you are doing an actual play show, knowing your audience is immensely important. So
before we got to the big cut, you were starting to say something really interesting about specifically playing in an all-women table and not necessarily like even feeling like the craziest welcome in that environment. And I just wanted to talk about feeling that too as like a queer person playing D&D.
Oh yeah. Even just like outside of like a trans thing, like just as like a woman who is attracted to other women, it's interesting.
It is. I mean, because like fundamentally at the core of it, TTRPGs are a social interaction fundamentally. Like, you very much, like, whatever social baggage you're bringing into that is absolutely going to affect the table, and like, it's something that you need to be very aware of, especially if your character has some kind of like, deeply traumatic stuff happening to them in the past. Like your character in our home game, Layla, like, that was a conversation we had to have before it got brought up of like, hey, we're going, and like, like content, like providing content warnings of like talking about like, hey, we're going to touch on this character's backstory, which features elements of like, like consent, or we're going to like, hey, we're gonna have a this session is going to be a little bit more horror focused. So so like here are the stuff that I have planned. Here are the content warnings for that. Like, and it's something that they've done very recently. Started doing on Dimension 20, and I think that's a very, very good thing that they do on that.
After.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never After. What they did with Never After, and like including, and not only from then on, and like retroactively, they've gone back and added a whole bunch of content warnings to all their older seasons too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was. I think it was. I know it was the Pixelists channel with Will and Blake that were somebody there. I don't know who it was, but when I first started sharing Legends of Abhaile over there with them, somebody was like, "Hey, can you put content disclosures on this?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And like it's been a thing that we've kind of done. Not all the time. I will like be lazy about it, I guess, if it's like the normal stuff, like fantasy and like adult language. Like I feel like everybody's kind of expecting that, and sometimes that's all we get up to in an episode. But like, if we get into some shit,
I mean, 'cause that's the genre.
Which trigger warning.
Right.
If you need a sorry, I was gonna make a joke, but I realized it would probably be in poor taste, so never mind.
All of the best jokes are made in poor taste, sir. That's the basis of comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, nostalgia critic.
There's someone who watched South Park at a formative age.
I have one last story for us here for the evening, and then we will kind of do our "What's Making You Happy This Week" segment at the end after we kind of like our wrap up there. So this one also another story that came from Facebook. Again, in the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition like Facebook page. So the title for this one goes, "So I'm playing an evil character who just aligned himself with the BDEG. I know that in 2 sessions I'll have to fight the party. I'm torn between going all out and trying to kick their asses, knowing with half decent rolls I can kill a couple little characters in a single turn, or holding back. I know most of them don't have a lot of experience with the game, but we have been playing this campaign since October. This was published in December. And the DM has warned them that with the last 2 fights, the training wheels will be taken off. Have y'all ever been in a situation like this? How did it go?"
Hey, this terrifies me.
Yeah, if you're a player who's planning on killing the other PCs, you are actively making the game worse for everyone.
Yeah, I've even had a player whose previous character had died, and then brought a new character in, and that character was immediately antagonistic to the party.
Oh, that's awful.
And didn't talk to any of us about it except for the DM.
See, that is shitty. This is legitimate poll the audience. So, because I think we talked about this earlier. Where my wizard has his
section down below.
My wizard has his Batman list of how to kill the party if he has to, and it's not an antagonistic thing. It's just like, okay, well, dominate person's a spell. I need to be prepared. And so, like,
I think that's just a communication thing you have with the other party members. Of like, are you cool if I go evil and try and take you guys out? Like, no reveal is worth making people mad at you.
For sure. And like, there's been, I think, one situation in our Monday night game where I was close to PvPing another party member, and beforehand I was like, "Hey, buddy, so we've had this thing going on between our characters for a while, and it's kind of coming to a head. are you in a good place tonight? Because I might try to fuck with you and kill you. And he's like, bring it on. And, this is cool. And then again, also, especially when there's not this is just a little tiny disclaimer, but if PvP is not a part of the campaign, ask your DM before you PvP. Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you got to send the bard into space.
Yeah. And
I mean,
also,
there's a famous...
go ahead.
Sorry. There's a famous story from the second ever season of Dimension 20, Escape the Bloodkeep. Again, have the counter in the corner every time I talk about Brenly Mulligan or Matt Colville as my two DMing icons, the two people I try to aspire to be in my DMing. They famously, Brenly Mulligan changed the final battle for Escape the Bloodkeep. I would say spoilers, but also it's been out for 8 years now, so I think the bar of spoilers has passed on this.
Oh yeah.
He was originally planning on it being a PvP combat, and then the session before of that, the players were all so buddy, making friends and kind of have these big emotional breakthroughs in character, bonding with each other, and Brendan was like, well crap, I can't make this PvP now. How many goblin minis do I have that I can throw at them?
And I always aspire to that.
Knowing your players.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's...
Again, communication, talk to people, don't tell people it's not going to be a furry game when it's going to be a furry game.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, tell your party if the next session your character might actively impede your progress.
Right. And seriously,
Because also he says, I know with a couple half decent rolls, I can kill a couple characters in a single turn, and him also being an experienced player with everyone else being non-experienced players. That is
that's shitty. That's just...
Yeah. I mean, I know we're kind of running out of time here.
Yeah.
But I've even had players try to dictate what I do on my turn, as in give me suggestions mid-battle out of character.
Yeah, not my thing.
I feel like, especially if they clearly have enough D&D experience where they can say shit with a few half-decent rolls, I could kill the entire party. I feel like in a lot of ways you have at least a little bit of responsibility to new players to give them an enjoyable game rather than using them as tiny little meat shields.
Yeah, that's a little tried and done, and yeah.
Yeah.
Which should be obvious. In this guy's case, we want to share this wonderful hobby with other people so they can have so much fun and have more fun with us later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Aragorn didn't start slaughtering hobbits for fun. That's a different book.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
Do we
Saruman
did. Do we think that Frodo and Sam were new players to the game, and then Gandalf and Aragorn players were all
veterans? Oh yeah.
And Gandalf made it to a station.
Aragorn to me is so min-maxed. He's min-maxed the plot.
He is.
Book Aragorn's really min-maxed. Book Aragorn's I took Inheritor, guys.
Aragorn, Book Aragorn is a ranger rogue, multi-class, Gloomstalker assassin, so that he can get 50,000 damage out on turn 1.
And he's got the sword from the get-go.
And
he's got a sword from the...
He probably doing
that. I guess Frodo has the one ring from the get-go, but...
Yeah, it's just one overpowered item because he was like, listen, the GM said we could take one really strong item, okay?
Yeah. So everybody
Man,
everybody
Tolkien was
has
kind of a bad DM.
everybody has the inheritor fee, like the inheritor background.
Yeah.
So Aragorn inherited Anduril or Narsil, the shards, whatever. Frodo inherited the ring. Sam inherited Frodo's baggage. Merry and Pippin inherited the plot of the Hobbits going forward.
Hey.
It's true though.
Hey, Sam inherited like a 50 in strength. Let's just wrap this up real quick. We'll do our final segment that we always do at the end of these, and then we can then we can talk or like hang out afterwards. But so. Wow, those were sure were some stories. We're not gonna pretend like we just talked for 30 minutes about Marvel, DC, and stuff like that. That will be on our Patreon, which you can get for $2 a month. So check out our Patreon in the link down below in the towel section. Otherwise, we are going to go to our final section of our final two sections. The first one is the what's making us happy this week, and then the last one will be any shout-outs we'd like to do. This one was I shamelessly stole from Pop Culture Happy Hour. Stuff that has been coming out that you watched recently that you really enjoyed, or stuff like that, or anything that's just like, bringing you joy. I can go first because I have recently gotten back into playing Terraria. Which is, I've been playing a lot of really good video games lately. Terraria being one of them. It's so good. And then me and RJ have also been playing Split Fiction recently, which is so much fun. If you and your partner need something to do as a couple, this is a phenomenal couples game. It's made by the people who make It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
Yeah, it's so good, so fun. This was our early anniversary present, and check out It Takes Two. I mean, not It Takes Two. Check out Split Fiction.
There you go.
Well.
It takes two, baby. Just me and
Who else? And then my shout out for go to check out Princess Starian on TikTok or Instagram. Let's help get them to 100 followers by the end of the week.
We can do it. We got just enough people to do it.
You guys do not want to follow me on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, you also don't want to follow me on TikTok. I also don't post really ever, but that's okay.
I don't think anybody here wants to see my husband hotel cosplays, but if you do, I'm flattered.
If you want to see me do kind of acting, maybe follow me? I don't know.
Who else would like to do their making you happy this week and shout out next?
I gotcha. So another thing, talking about just getting back into stuff, something that I just got back into that I haven't been able to do as a hobby since I think I was like 12 years old. I put together a Gundam model, and it's pretty darn awesome.
Okay, well, what's making me happy this week? My boyfriend is turning 26 this week.
Oh, happy birthday to him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, after this, I'm hopping on a call with him, where we might watch something in pop culture. I don't know. As far as shout-outs and stuff, you might eventually, I don't know, see me on this channel more often.
Hell yeah, we will.
Keep a lookout for my kind of, I guess, pretty face.
Hey, everybody on this channel is freaking beautiful, so,
As far as what I'm playing right now, I actually just started playing Pathfinder for the first time.
Oh.
Specifically, second edition. Unfortunately, you cannot see me playing it anywhere on the internet, but that's okay. I'm playing a druid, and I'm learning that system for the first time, and it's great. As far as what I'm very excited about coming out, I think next month, there's a game called South of Midnight that I'm really interested in playing.
Yes, I've heard good things about that game.
I haven't heard
And
anything about it at all. That's awesome.
It's so good. It follows a young woman of color, and like her. I think it deals with her African heritage. I think specifically.
Oh,
It's like some kind of it's like folk horror type stuff, like monsters down in the swamp and stuff like that.
I love that. I just.
Which I'm so excited to play.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I believe that's all for me.
Well, we'll go split 50 from me, but I'd like to a little game for y'all from the makers of Life is Strange that just came out called Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. Very similar to the Life is Strange.
Those
not
are
entirely.
so good.
Yes. If you like Life is Strange, like I did, you will like this. It is about a group of 4 teenage girls, summer of 1995. An supernatural incident occurs to them, and then in the present day of 2022, you have to go back to the small and figure out what the fuck happened. Why can't you remember it? Also, every single character is a lesbian, and there's a cat.
We love queerness.
Pumpkin.
Is the cat lesbian?
We love Pumpkin.
The cat might
No
be a
clue.
lesbian.
It is
Listen,
now.
even if the cat isn't lesbian, the cat gives off
The
sapphic
cat looks
energy.
like
It's
lesbian.
okay.
Got vibes. I got you.
Also, in terms of shout out, that game studio deserves a love too. But for my Midwest nerds out there, I can't say good enough things about EvilCon, which is a convention that I went to very recently with one of my dear friends in the southern Indiana area. They're moving to Kentucky for 2026, but I had such positive interactions with them. Their staff are so wonderful. Their vendors hall was beautiful. They had fun games and like such an interconnected community the entire time. Beautiful cosplay, beautiful panelists. If you go, you should definitely go participate in the cosplay chess. It's fun and very fun to watch. Not sponsored, but I can't say great enough things about them, and maybe I'll DM them, get them to sponsor us.
You said cosplay chess?
Cosplay chess. So
That's awesome.
It is this activity where 32 people sit down as like chess pieces, cosplay encouragement are required, and then 2 people who are moderating the panel are actually playing chess with human people and telling them to move wherever.
I want
and
to
then
do
when
this so bad.
you actually get to role play out beating the crap out of each other, and sometimes you have dance battles, and sometimes there are traps and things like that.
And I thought the giant chessboard at Pure Marquette was cool.
That just made my nerd heart sing so loud.
I love chess.
I never played it.
All right. Final. Rich, what's making you happy this week?
I get to see my beautiful girlfriend this Wednesday. She's staying for a couple days. She lives about an hour east of me, and she's coming to spend some time. It's pretty wonderful.
Aww.
Hell yeah.
Aw, how fun!
And then I'm excited about what's coming out. Yes, we talked privately about Marvel fatigue, but I am very much ready to see the Thunderbolts. It's fantastic.
That movie looks really good. It has my favorite Marvel character of all time, the Sentry, in it. So, very excited.
It's got Yelena Belova, and she is a wonderful replacement for Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
I love Florence Pugh so much.
Great movie.
Brave New World was the closest I came.
Just the end of
Yeah,
that
well,
sentence.
This is that is what that is our tavern is closing down. It is closing time. So we are going to have to say goodbye, but we will see you next time. If you like this format, if you like the RPG horror stories, please let us know, because if this gets good enough engagement, we'll do this again. I'll find more. Unfortunately, there's no shortage of awful things happening in people's TTRPG games. But otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Chill out, stay safe with all the weather out there. And with that, good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.
All right.
All right. And